Yes, the quarantine hair is hitting right now. And yes, I'm aware my hairline is horrible. We're working with what we got here. All right. Today we're going over Casey Mize, the 90 overall prospect pitcher from the Tigers. This guy is an absolute stud in real life, being drafted #1 overall a couple years ago and then just tearing it up in the minors last year. A lot of Tigers fans thought he was coming up this year. We'll see if we have a shortened season, whether he will or not. But this man will be a stud in the league for a long time. But today we're talking about in MLB The Show. So sit back and hope you enjoy the video. Before we get into it, I would just love to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel. We are sitting at 180 subs right now, so close to 200. I really do appreciate you guys' support. And I'd also like to remind you guys to like the video, comment down below as well. Let me know who you want to keep seeing in these pitchers videos. I got a list of guys right now that I've already got B-roll for. Just got to record the videos. They'll be coming in the next few days. But let me know down in the comments because I got to keep adding to that list. I also stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. If you're looking for a chill place to hang out, play some MLB The Show, hang out with a pretty cool community, hit that link in the description, follow the channel, and hopefully I'll see you there. All right, so Casey Mize, the 90 overall right-handed prospect pitcher for the Tigers. I found this card to be pretty good. He was very effective on All-Star as well as Hall of Fame. I haven't been able to use him on Legend, but Hall of Fame is a good indicator in my opinion. This guy has pretty decent stamina at 88, pretty good per nines at 85 and 84. He's a good control pitcher with his control at 89. He also has pretty darn good stuff with an interesting pitch selection. So he's rocking the four-seam fastball, which gets into about the mid-90s, tops out maybe 97. A good cutter with what I think is some pretty deceptive movement. He also has a splitter, a slurve that moves a ton, and a decent sinker that you're able to get in on right-handers with. So overall, his pitch selection is great. His per nines are good. He also has a few more quirks than the last few guys that we've gone over. So first is stingy. He limits base hits, which is actually huge. The per nines mixed with that is actually very helpful. He also has the untouchable quirk that we've seen fairly often now. He excels at striking out hitters. He has control artist, which means he limits walks, which is awesome. He has the grounded quirk, which means he limits home runs, which is very helpful as well. The sinker baller quirk is nasty. It makes his sinker extremely effective. There are also pitchers out there that have this for a two-seam fastball, which basically does the same thing. It's great. He has the knee breaker quirk, which means he excels at throwing his breaking ball, which is why the slurve moves so much. And he also has Mr. Splitty, which is the splitter quirk. Makes him throw an exceptional splitter. And honestly, the splitter is very effective and very tough to hang with him, which is actually huge. All right, so as always, we're going to be splitting the sequences that I use between righties and lefties. So against righties, I want to say that Casey Mize's four-seam fastball surprisingly has a ton of life on it. I saw that thing moving like a two-seam at times, and this fastball ain't supposed to move like that. I use his cutter a ton against righties. I like to put that thing low and away and a little bit off the zone, make it look like a four-seam that's kind of in that outer third, but then it actually is outside the zone. It moves enough like that, and it actually looks like a fastball long enough that you can tunnel that thing with the four seam and be extremely effective with it. The splitter is great low and away. Every now and then I would go low and in with it. It's a useful pitch. It's good for speed change, but don't overuse it, I would say, because people look for it a lot, especially when you're ahead in the count. I would use the slurve every now and then to righties. I didn't use it a ton, only because the thing breaks so much that it's easy to pick up out of the hand once you see it a lot. So use it sparingly as a strikeout pitch, get it out of the zone. It has a lot of speed change on it, which is very useful. So when used correctly, this pitch is actually nasty. And then lastly, the sinker, I would use it against righties, middle in, inside, I like off the zone. All right, so this pitch I didn't use a ton. It's probably the least controllable pitch that he has, but you can control it. I backdoored it every now and then with the sinker cutter combo that we like to talk about here on this channel. And but I use that sinker a lot in against righties. So there were a lot of times that I would be pitching off of the cutter. which I don't do as much with other pitchers. I think that cutter is debatably Mize's best pitch when used correctly off that zone. His control is very, very helpful because he has that control up in like the 90 range. So you're able to locate pitches where you want pretty much almost all the time. It's great. And then, as always, I like using that four seam up and away to get kind of a free strike, especially when you're burying things in, but also when they're looking low and away and then you bring it up. Typically, people, when they're looking up, look up and in, so you get that up and away pitch, kind of get a free strike or a free miss hit there, which is awesome, which is great. Versus lefties, I like to work with the front door sinker and then the cutter inside combo. There are guys that like to turn on that cutter inside, so then I use the sinker to kind of throw them off there, get a little downward movement. If they start laying this off or they're starting to see it well, try to dot a four seam low and in. They're expecting some type of movement, so if you get it on that corner, if it's a sinker, they're going to think it's low. If it's a cutter, they're going to think it's inside. You kind of get a free strike there. Don't do it often though. This is a strategy to kind of keep them honest with the zone too. Against lefties with a righty on the mound, I like going four seam up and away a lot. It's the same case with Mize, especially with the movement he gets on that fastball. I also like going the sinker, not quite up and away on the corner, although that pitch is pretty effective, but a little below the corner. So it looks like that four seam fastball. And once they start sitting that, when they see it, that sinker will get just enough downward movement that they'll actually hit that high pitch into the ground. And you get kind of a free ground out there, maybe a double play ball. It's not the most typical pitch that you would see, but it can be effective. I use that splitter on either corner, below the zone if possible. It's kind of a swing and miss rollover pitch right there. I would back foot the slurve a lot. Against righties, not quite as much, but against lefties, the slurve can be really effective, especially if you're using that four seam fastball and cutter inside. They're going to think it's that. They're going to swing right over it. That thing ends up off the zone and below the zone. It's great. And then if they're clearly just guessing, they aren't on much, a good strikeout pitch is the four seam up and in. I don't recommend that pitch as often in MLB The Show just because that's where a lot of people like to sit. But if they're clearly guessing, you might be able to sneak that fastball by them with Casey Mize. All right, so an overview of Casey Mize. This card is very effective. May end up being my number 5 in the rotation. I'm going to rotate through a few guys, see who works best. But I do like Casey Mize. I think he's at least a quality start guy in the upper echelons of ranked seasons. And he could potentially give you a really, really good start in the Hall of Fame area. Great pitch mix, high control pitcher, and we all know I like my high control pitchers. So overall, I thought he was great. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, if you have not liked it yet and you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. A lot more of these are coming, as well as other gameplays. And I'm actually currently working on a new video right now that's requiring some research. I'm really excited to get that one out to you, hopefully later this week. So guys, until next time, I'll see you later.